We bring you the latest edition of MBC News with me, Kumbukani Piri, alongside our sign language interpreter, Sevita Wirima. First, our top stories. The Ministry of Lands launches a nationwide land ownership audit to restore order in land administration and resolve long-standing disputes. The Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, assures Malawians that government will distribute development projects across the regions of the country. And Illovo Sugar Malawi optimistic that it will resume production of sugar in April this year. Well, I'm glad you could join us. The Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development has launched a land ownership audit aimed at bringing sanity on matters of land ownership and resolving long-standing disputes. Minister responsible, Chimwemwe Chipungu, says the launch of the audit will help address various land ownership issues and reconcile them with official records. Charles Wahara reports.
According to the Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Chimwemwe Chipungu, the land ownership audit follows his announcement in January to conduct the exercise after receiving numerous complaints related to land matters that required urgent attention. Chipungu said the audit will begin with pilot phase in Lilongwe City, specifically in Area 3 and 10. The minister said the exercise aims to ascertain the total number of land parcels in the selected areas and examine land records to verify ownership and the extent of the development. The exercise will also verify property records and ownership, as well as facilitate the creation of database for property tax and ground rent payments.
First of all, today we are here to launch the land audit, which includes performance and compliance. After working for almost 2 months at the ministry, we have been having complaints of double entries, land grabbing, and also delays in issuing so many documents like lease and title deeds. So we thought we should meet, audit, and find out who owns what and for what purpose. So this would be a good meeting to address those gaps and shortfalls. This audit will be for 2 months so that we should be accurate, not to repeat the same exercise in near future. So in 2 months, we'll come back to the public to give the results of what has been transpired.
According to Chipungu, the audit will help clear backlog of land records and establish an internal archive system for safe custody of documents. He has since advised officers in the ministry to work diligently, emphasizing that delays will not be tolerated in the 2-month exercise. Charles Wahara, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Now, members of Parliament have hailed President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika for introducing free secondary education, which they believe is critical in empowering the less privileged in society. Parliamentarians, which include Mavuto Scott from Cholo Tekerani, Laskin Vigaro from Blantyre Chirimba, Michiru, also highlighted that the introduction of the 5 billion Kwacha constituency development fund would help bridge the infrastructure gap in most communities. Deputy Leader of the House, who is also Minister of Information, Shadrach Namalomba, has since praised the active participation of the members on matters of national interest.
Judging from the presentations and the deliberations so far, I would say that we have started very well. It's a Monday, and we believe that as we are progressing in the week, the discussions, the debate will reach the peak. Tomorrow is yet another day. There's a lot of business, particularly questions to ministers. They'll come tomorrow, and we shall continue on Wednesday. We have also ministerial statements that are coming on board. On Thursday, we are going to have the members, you call it Private Members Day. Members bring matters of importance coming from their own constituencies. There are those motions and so forth, but also continuation of maiden statements, because majority of members here, they are first timers. They have just come for the first time, so they are given an opportunity to present a statement as the first time members. And Good Friday, and this Friday, that's a big day, because the Minister of Finance is going to come into this house and present a budget.
Member of Parliament for Cholo-Tava, Mary Navicha, has appealed to organizations to support people in her area in their winter cropping efforts in a bid to build resilience among the communities. Navicha said this on the sidelines of food relief items distribution to 4,000 families from Pfizer Global Relief Foundation at Mtamanyama Ground in Cholo. Simeon Shumba has filed a report read by Ruth Chinangwa.
Navicha, who is also the Minister of Gender, Children, Disability and Social Welfare, explained that her area was hit hard by a dry spell which made people food insecure. The parliamentarian has hailed the organization for the timely assistance.
The hunger situation here in Cholo-Tava is dire. People are struggling to get food, and some of the factors that have contributed to this hunger is Cyclone Freddy. This area is prone to cyclones. Cyclone Anna, Cyclone Freddy, and all cyclones have put us in this situation. And 60% of people have no food. That's why, as a member of parliament, I thought it wise to go and knock the doors for FGRF to ask for food assistance, and they responded positively to my request. That's why they are here distributing food on behalf of the people of Cholo-Tava constituency, and on my own behalf as member of parliament. I would like to thank this organization for the food assistance. This help has come at the right time when people are suffering. People are going to bed with an empty stomach. And despite the assistance from government, as you're aware that government is also helping people, distributing maize from Dodma, but that's not enough. That's why the president made a request to organizations like FGRF and other organizations to intervene this situation. So the coming of FGRF is a great help to the people of Cholo-Tava constituency.
FGRF Communications Director Ibrahim Omar Mataya said the organization has lined up several initiatives to build resilient communities affected by effects of climate change.
We as Muslims believe strongly in charity, to give out charity and to help one another, and especially in the month of Ramadan. In the month of Ramadan, we believe that when we give out to people who are less needy, and that it is more fruitful. So we as an organization are on the ground over here to ensure that as many people receive through this initiative.
The organization plans to reach out to 100,000 hunger-stricken families during this time of Ramadan.
The Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, says the government, led by President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, will ensure that development projects are distributed in all parts of the country to transform lives of all Malawians. Vice President for the party in the northern region, Japi Mhango, said this in Rumpi during an interface meeting with the business community. Musase Cheyo reports.
Vice President for the ruling Democratic Progressive Party DPP in the northern region, Japi Mhango, who is also Minister of Transport and Public Works, says government has lined up a number of projects to benefit Malawians in all parts of the country, including in Rumpi district. Mhango, who asked the business community to have trust in DPP parliamentary candidate for Rumpi Central, Moya Walita Mkandawire, said, for example, people should, among others, expect modern markets through different windows, including CDF.
Government is already, planning to build several markets across the country, and we believe that Rumpi will be one of the beneficiaries. But also, you must also be reminded that the new CDF, which is worth 5 billion, will also provide the same window. So out of that money, we should be able to construct modern markets across various constituencies, and Rumpi Central should be one of them. So we hope very much that if the monies are used prudently, properly, they should be able to use that money, all money from the central government, to put up a modern market here at Rumpi.
In his remarks, chairperson for Rumpi Market, Karumbambo Mbare, said the business community will support the DPP administration because they have already seen some improvements.
Ntchito za malonda zikuyenda bwino.
komanso tikanena kuti munthu kuti aziwe kuti
the business is now going on well. Food is now available because maize is now cheap. Fuel is available. Prices of essential commodities are good. And then foreign currency is also available.
Katundu sakukwera ngati mena amakwera kumbuyo kuja.
The meeting was attended by representatives of different kinds of businesses at Rumpi Boma. Musase Cheyo, MBC News, Rumpi.
The Ministry of Gender, Children, Disability and Social Welfare has commended the Bridge Malawi project for improving the welfare of marginalized communities in the country through the provision of adult literacy education and vocational skills training through its 4 community learning centers in Blantyre, Zomba, Lilongwe and Chitipa. Simeon Boyce has the details.
Chief Community Development Officer at the Ministry of Gender, Children, Disability and Social Welfare, Samuel Ziwa, made these remarks at the closing of the soap and petroleum jelly making workshop at Forum for the Development of Youth with Disabilities in Namyango, Blantyre. Ziwa added that the initiative is in line with Malawi Development Plan Agenda 2063 on inclusive wealth creation and distribution.
What Bridge Project is focusing on is to empower the marginalized community. If you look at the Malawi 2063, we are seeking to have what is called inclusive wealth creation, where everybody is participating in the creation of wealth of this country. That is very important because it also has a factor of wealth distribution. If everybody is participating, it means everybody is having a stake. It means they are already making their own wealth. You don't need to reach a certain level where you would say, okay, let's distribute wealth. It means people are already having their own wealth.
In his remarks, Director of the Center, Rex Kalima, says Bridge Project has empowered members of his organization with skills in income-generating activities that will enhance financial sustainability of the center and their livelihood.
The activities are about sustainability. It's capacity building and sustainability of the center. We are learning on soap making, dishwasher making, and petroleum jelly. These products are being taught to the participant, and whatever they have learned here, they can also be sold with the center, and whatever the man and resources that can be generated can be used by the center, and whatever that these participants have learned, they can also be done at their respective homes.
Bridge Project Manager Stone Makunganya says the project, which started in 2012 and is in phase 2, has had a positive impact on adult literacy education in Malawi through the revision of training materials.
It's like we have managed to support the government to revise the training materials, such as for standard 5, 6, 7, 8, that is for adult literacy. And also we have managed to build the community learning centers in a district like Chitipa, Lilongwe, Zomba and Blantyre.
The project is funded by Korean National Commission for UNESCO. Simeon Boyce, MBC News, Blantyre.
This is MBC News with me, Kumbukani Piri, and Savita Wirima, our sign language interpreter. A reminder of our top stories. The Ministry of Lands launches a nationwide land ownership audit to restore order in land administration and resolve long-standing disputes. The Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, assures Malawians that government will distribute development projects across the regions of the country. And Ilovo Sugar Malawi optimistic that it will resume production of sugar in April this year. We continue with MBC News. Now, Ilovo Sugar Malawi has expressed optimism that it will start crushing sugarcane in April this year to resume production of sugar. The company's board chairperson, Jimmy Lipunga, said this in Blantyre during an investor forum. Justin Kweo has more in this report.
Ilovo Sugar Malawi stops crushing for some months every year due to the rainy season, which makes it difficult to do the exercise. Speaking during the investor forum, Lipunga said even though the rainfall pattern is unpredictable these days, they are confident that by April this year they will resume sugar production. Lipunga added that despite the break, the country will have enough supply of the commodity to reach the resumption of production.
Despite the impact of the flooding, that is probably going to be offset by the fact that the smuggling to Mozambique and to Tanzania has been contained, and that should allow, local consumers access sugar. And as you can see right now, compared to last year, we have sugar in the shops. The situation was different last year.
It was disclosed during the meeting that the company's export percentage dropped by 10 percentage points to 3% from 13% for the year ended August 31st, 2025. The company attributed this to an export restriction by the government last year and slowdown in production. The company's managing director, Ronald Ngwira, said strategies have been placed to improve production.
Few levers that are being pulled to ensure that productivity goes up. So from an agricultural perspective, yield per hectare, we're working on new irrigation systems, new farming systems. We are really excited about the World Bank Malawi government Shiri Valley Transformation Project. That canal is going to open up quite a few thousand hectares of new land which will be put onto various crops, but including sugarcane, that we can expand our production and throughput through the factory.
Meanwhile, the company has seen its profit after tax increase to 77.2 billion kwacha for the year ended August 31st, 2025, from 22.6 billion kwacha in the preceding year. Part of the profit will be shared among the investors at 18 kwacha 50 tambara per share, which is an increase from 5 kwacha per share in 2024. Minority Shareholders Association of Listed Companies, Misaliko General Secretary Frank Harawa, expressed satisfaction with the company's diversification plans.
Overall, they are very clever in the sense that they know that they are in the field and their work is to do the sugar. But not only that, they have diversified into cotton, which is a good thing. And if they're also helping in fish and even bees, that's a good thing for a company. I think they can intensify in those areas, although they are saying that their main interest is sugar, but they can even do better by intensifying in those other areas for diversification and for export reasons.
Ilovo Sugar Malawi is the largest producer of sugar in the country. Justin Mkweo, MBC News, Blantyre.
Now, labor law experts have urged employers to ensure their workforce is well acquainted with labor laws to prevent avoidable legal disputes. The call aims to reduce cases of unfair treatment, often rooted in a lack of knowledge regarding the Employment Act. High Court judges Justice Alan Muhome and Justice Chimwemwe Kamoa made the remarks during a specialized workshop for human resources and administration managers, labor rights organizations, conducted in Blantyre. Details in this report.
The application of labor laws in Malawi, effective disciplinary procedures, and evolving global employment relationships were the focal points of the workshop in Blantyre. Participants also explored the core principles and processes required for fair employee recruitment. Workshop facilitator Justice Alan Muhone emphasized that many cases brought before the Industrial Relations Court are preventable if employers handle workplace disputes correctly. Justice Chimwemwe Kamoa, board chairperson for labor rights organization LARO, stated that the initiative aims to build capacity among both employers and employees while advocating for enforcement of fair labor policies.
Those that have undergone this training, our expectation is that once they go back, they'll go back to the drawing board, see things, places, areas where they are lagging behind, areas that they are not complying with the law, and change and implement the skills, knowledge that they have gained here, more especially to comply with the labor laws.
Participants, including Pamela Pasani of Sunbelt Hotels and Valentine Lapken, described the training as an eye-opener.
It was so important in the way that it also educative in the terms of labor laws, most especially about people issues, which can help us to prevent other things, for example, the court issues that we are having issues now in the industry.
Established in 2011, LARO continues to collaborate with the government and civil society to promote social justice and sustainable development across Malawi.
The Non-Governmental Organizations Coalition on Child Rights, NGO-CCR, has raised an alarm over abduction and killings of children in the country. Speaking during a press briefing in Lilongwe, the coalition chairperson Desmond Muhango said recently 2 children went missing in Mwanza and their bodies were discovered in different locations in decomposed state, wrapped in plastics, while one who was abducted in the bypass road in Lilongwe is still missing.
We are raising concerns around the protection of children or safety and security of children in the country, given that we have examples of children who were abducted in Mwanza and both girls were found killed and dumped. We want the authorities, our leaders in the country, to take immediate action. One is to identify the perpetrators of those who killed the children in Mwanza must be found and be taken through a process of justice. We also are appealing for the authorities, particularly the police, to investigate and apprehend all suspects in the missing of a girl child in Lilongwe. And for the Mangochi case, also want to see the end, the apprehension of those suspects, and that the trial must be commenced and the conclusion reached. We want those instances to be done once and for all by setting a scenario which would prohibit further occurrence of the same case. So we can provide a scenario where no more children will be killed and no more children will be abducted or will be missing.
Marymount Secondary School has emerged champions of the 2026 Association for the Teaching of English in Malawi ATEM Northern Education Division Drama Competition held at Katoto Secondary School in Mzuzu. Marymount Secondary School will now represent the Northern region at the ATEM National Drama Competition scheduled for April in Lilongwe alongside runners-up Nkatabe Secondary School. Speaking after the competition, ATEM NED President John Jawala said the participating schools were well prepared and showed remarkable improvement in confidence and spoken English. Rudoviko Nyirenda has more.
14 secondary schools participated in the 2026 ATEM NED drama competition, with Marymount Secondary School emerging winner, Nkatabe Secondary School finishing second, and Chivavi Community Day Secondary School came third. Jawara described the competition as tough, saying every school came well prepared, and expressed optimism that the platform is achieving its goal of building students' confidence in spoken English before an audience.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of things, and if you hear about drama, you hear about the rise of Du Chisisa Jr. We have heard about this name when we were very young, and we can even see now. So we want to nurture other Du Chisisa Jr. here.
Meanwhile, acting Northern Education Division Manager Sam Tembo said the competition has had a positive impact on English language learning in the division compared to previous years.
Of late, our schools have started picking up. They're doing well. We had a blip in the past where performance was like not very good, but now the activities like this, coupled with the CPDs that we do, that have made our schools to pick up, and they're on the right track.
Patron for Marymount Secondary School, Innocent Mankwara, said he is confident that the school will perform well at the national finals.
Importantly, we are looking forward to win the competition there, so that our representation of the Northern region here should not just be in vain, but rather we give them the results.
Marymount Secondary School received 500,000 kwacha and a trophy. Nkatabe Secondary School went away with 300,000 kwacha, while Chivavi Community Day Secondary School pocketed 200,000 kwacha. ATEM is an education organization committed to improving English proficiency in secondary schools through creative arts such as drama, poetry, and debate. In the Northern Education Division, ATEM activities are supported by different partners, including Standard Bank and Old Mutual. Rudoviko Nyirenda, MBC News, Mzuzu.
And that's it from our newsroom. A recap of our top stories before we leave. The Ministry of Lands launches a nationwide land ownership audit to restore order in land administration and resolve long-standing disputes. The Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, assures Malawians that government will distribute development projects across the regions of the country. And Ilovo Sugar Malawi optimistic that it will resume production of sugar in April this year. You can keep up to date with our news coverage on our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You've been with me, Kumbukani Piri, alongside Savita Wirima, our sign language interpreter tonight. Thanks for watching and good night.